Here is something that happened inside a family. Three brothers, same parents, same household. They ate the same home-cooked meals their entire lives. Same chicken, same rice, same vegetables, the same breakfast every single morning for decades. And when they went for a health checkup together, one brother had completely normal blood sugar. The second one was pre-diabetic and had no idea. And the third one had full type 2 diabetes, already damaging his kidneys, and he felt completely fine. Same food, same kitchen, completely different outcomes. Their doctor did not blame the rice. He did not say, eat less bread. He asked one question, what are you eating with it and in what order and when? Because this is the truth that almost nobody tells you. The food on your plate is only half the story. The other half is what that food does inside your body, how fast it pushes glucose into your blood, how hard it forces your pancreas to work, whether your cells are even responding to insulin anymore. And when that system breaks down slowly, silently over years, you do not feel it happening. You just feel a little tired after meals, a little heavy, a little foggy in the afternoon. You call it getting older, you call it stress. But your blood vessels, your nerves, and your kidneys are already paying the price. Over 100 million Americans are living with diabetes or prediabetes right now, and researchers estimate that for every person diagnosed, there is at least one more walking around with dangerously high blood sugar who has no idea. That could be you. But here is where this video becomes different from everything else you have seen. The answer is not an expensive supplement. It is not a complicated protocol. Nature has already placed 6 extraordinarily powerful ingredients available at most grocery stores that slow down glucose absorption, repair insulin response, and protect your pancreas from years of silent damage. Stay until number 1. Almost nobody knows what it is actually doing inside your body. Before we get to the ingredients, I need you to understand one thing clearly, because once you understand this, everything else in this video will click into place. Every time you eat carbohydrates, bread, rice, pasta, fruit, your digestive system breaks them down into glucose. This glucose enters your bloodstream. Your blood sugar rises. This is completely normal. This is how your body gets energy. Now, your pancreas detects this rise and releases a hormone called insulin. Think of insulin like a traffic signal at a busy intersection. It tells the glucose where to go into your muscle cells, your liver, your organs, where it burns as fuel. When the signal works, traffic flows, blood sugar comes down. The problem begins in 2 stages. Both happen silently. Stage 1 is when food releases glucose too fast. A sudden flood of sugar hits your bloodstream. All at once, your pancreas panics and releases a massive burst of insulin. This works, but barely. Every time this flood happens, it puts enormous stress on the pancreas. Stage 2 is the dangerous one. Your cells stop listening to insulin. This is called insulin resistance. Imagine the traffic signal is working perfectly, but the drivers are ignoring it. Glucose piles up in the blood. The pancreas keeps producing more and more insulin, trying to force the message through. Slowly, over months and years, the insulin-producing cells called beta cells become exhausted. They start producing less, and now you have type 2 diabetes. Here is what makes this so dangerous. Insulin resistance has no obvious symptoms, no pain, just mild tiredness after meals, brain fog in the afternoon, a little weight around the belly, sugar cravings you cannot explain, things almost everyone blames on age. The right foods fight this through 3 specific pathways. First, they slow down how fast glucose enters the blood. Second, they improve how sensitively your cells respond to insulin. Third, they protect the beta cells of your pancreas from damage. Every ingredient we are about to cover works on at least one of these 3 pathways. Some work on all 3 at once. That is what makes them genuinely powerful and not just traditionally recommended. Ingredient number 6, fenugreek seeds. If there is one ingredient that works on all 3 blood sugar pathways at the same time, this is it. And the vast majority of people who use fenugreek have no idea how precise its action inside the body actually is. Fenugreek seeds contain a rare soluble fiber called galactomannan. When you consume soaked fenugreek, this fiber absorbs water in your digestive tract. It forms a thick, viscous gel. This gel physically coats the lining of your intestines, a barrier between the carbohydrates you just ate and the enzymes trying to break them down into glucose. The result, glucose release slows dramatically. Think of it like a speed bump placed directly in front of absorption. The glucose still gets through, but slowly, calmly, one wave at a time. Your pancreas receives a gentle signal instead of an emergency alarm. The second compound in fenugreek is called 4-hydroxyisoleucine, a rare amino acid found in very few foods on Earth. It works directly at the pancreas. When blood sugar rises, it stimulates the beta cells to release insulin more efficiently. And here is what makes it remarkable. It only activates when blood sugar is actually elevated. When your levels are normal, it stays quiet. It supports the system without overwhelming it. There is also a third mechanism. Fenugreek slows gastric emptying, how quickly food moves from your stomach into the small intestine. This extends the entire glucose release timeline across a longer period. That third mechanism is why people who use fenugreek consistently report fewer energy crashes through the morning, less sudden hunger, more stable focus. The peaks and valleys of blood sugar become a smoother, manageable line. How to use it? Soak 1 teaspoon of fenugreek seeds in half a glass of water overnight. In the morning, drink the soaking water and eat the softened seeds before breakfast. Soaking activates the galactomannan fiber fully. Start here. Be consistent. Consistency over weeks matters far more than quantity on any single day. This is ingredient number 6. 5 more to go, and they only get more powerful from here. Ingredient number 5, jamun seed powder, also known as black plum seed powder. Here is something that almost everyone throws away without knowing its value. The seed of the black plum. Jam and seed powder contains plant compounds, including jamboline and jambosine, that interfere with starch digestion at its very first stage. When you eat bread, rice, or pasta, your body uses enzymes called alpha-amala and alpha-glucosidase to break that starch into glucose. Jamun seed compounds gently inhibit these enzymes. They slow them down. The result, starch takes longer to convert into glucose. Instead of a sharp spike after your meal, the rise becomes gradual, manageable. This is happening before glucose even reaches your bloodstream. Jamun seed also improves glucose uptake in muscle tissue. Your muscles pull more sugar out of the bloodstream and burn it for energy rather than leaving it circulating. This is why people who use it consistently notice less post-meal fatigue, less heaviness, less afternoon fog. The glucose is going where it belongs. And beyond that, jamun seed protects the beta cells of the pancreas from oxidative stress. High blood sugar over time creates damaging free radicals inside these cells. The natural antioxidants in jamun seed neutralize this damage, helping the beta cells keep functioning steadily over years rather than burning out. How to use it? Half a teaspoon of black plum seed powder in warm water once a day after your main meal. Ingredient number 4, cinnamon. And before you think you already know this one, hear me out. What it actually is at a biological level is a metabolic tool. It works through not 1, not 2, but 3 completely separate pathways inside your body. The first pathway is at the insulin receptor. In people with insulin resistance, the receptors on cells have stopped responding properly. Cinnamon contains compounds called proanthocyanidin type A polymers. These activate insulin receptor kinase, the enzyme that switches the receptor on. At the same time, cinnamon blocks tyrosine phosphatase, the switch that normally turns the receptor off. The combined effect, your cells become more sensitive to insulin, more glucose enters the cells, less stays in the blood. The second pathway runs through AMK, your body's metabolic master switch. Cinnamon activates AMK inside your muscle and liver cells. When AMPK fires, your muscles increase glucose uptake on their own without needing more insulin to push them. This is why cinnamon can reduce post-meal spikes even when insulin sensitivity is already compromised. The third pathway is in the liver. Between meals and overnight, your liver produces its own glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis. In people with insulin resistance, this process runs too hot. Cinnamon suppresses the specific enzymes that drive it. Less glucose is released overnight. This is why people who use cinnamon consistently notice fasting blood sugar improving first before any change in post-meal readings. How to use cinnamon? A quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, not cassia, stirred into warm water, tea, or oatmeal. Ceylon is important because the cassia variety contains coumarin, which can stress the liver in large amounts. Small amount every single day, that is the principle that makes it work. Ingredient number 3, bitter melon. Nobody wants to eat bitter melon. The name alone is enough to make most people walk right past it. But no other vegetable on this list works more directly like insulin inside the human body. And once you understand what is actually inside it, you will look at it completely differently. It contains 3 specific compounds that make it unlike anything else in the produce aisle. The first compound is charantin, a mixture of plant sterols that increases glycogen synthesis in the liver and muscles, telling your body to store incoming glucose as fuel rather than leaving it in the blood. The second compound is vis. It triggers insulin-like activity in the beta cells of the pancreas, stimulating a response that mimics what insulin does. But the third compound is the one that makes researchers take this vegetable seriously. It is called polypeptide P, also known as plant insulin. This compound mimics the action of human insulin at the cellular level, activating the same pathways, pushing glucose into cells even when the body's own insulin response is weakened. 3 mechanisms, 1 vegetable. Bitter melon also inhibits alpha-glucosidase, the same digestive enzyme that jam and seed targets, slowing starch conversion during digestion. So it is operating at the enzyme level at the pancreas and at the cellular level simultaneously. When you have bitter melon before a meal, you are preloading your system to handle the incoming glucose from multiple angles at once. How to use it? 2 to 3 ounces of fresh bitter melon juice before lunch 2 to 3 times a week. If the bitterness is too intense, add a squeeze of lemon or fresh ginger. You can also cook it lightly, but raw juice preserves the plant insulin content best. Heat degrades it. Available at Asian grocery stores and most health food stores. Ingredient number 2, amla, also called Indian gooseberry. This is the most underestimated ingredient on this entire list. And if you have never heard of it, you are not alone. Western medicine is only now catching up. Amla's primary mechanism is through chromium. Here is the simplest way to understand it. Think of insulin as the key and the cell receptor as the lock. Chromium is what keeps the lock working smoothly. Without enough chromium, the lock becomes stiff. Insulin is present. The key is turning, but the door is barely opening. Amla is one of the richest natural food sources of bioavailable chromium you can find, supplying this mineral in a form the body absorbs and uses immediately. Beyond chromium, amla has one of the highest concentrations of vitamin C of any fruit on earth. Combined with its natural tannins, these protect the beta cells of the pancreas from oxidative stress, the cellular damage that silently weakens insulin production over years. Cinnamon protects the beta cells. Jaman seed protects the beta cells. Now amla adds a third layer. The pancreas has defense in depth. The tannins in amla also inhibit alpha amylase, slowing starch breakdown in the digestive tract. And amla reduces fat accumulation in the liver, directly addressing one of the most common hidden drivers of insulin resistance in adults over 40. How to use it? 1 fresh amla daily, eaten raw, or 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh amlet juice on an empty stomach each morning. And here we are at number 1, curry leaves. I know what some of you are thinking. Really? The little leaves you pick out of your food, those? But stay with me because this is not about tradition. It is about biology. Curry leaves contain alkaloids, specifically mehanamine, geranamine, and muraciline that improve insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. They help your cells respond to insulin more efficiently. Glucose moves from the blood into the cells more smoothly. This is the broken signal problem we talked about at the very beginning of this video, and curry leaves are quietly working to repair it every single time they enter your system. Curry leaves are also extraordinarily rich in cortin, beta-carotene, and natural flavonoids, antioxidants that protect the beta cells of your pancreas from the oxidative stress that silently weakens insulin production over years. More layers of protection. more defense for the factory that produces your insulin. They also contain plant compounds that slow down the enzymatic breakdown of carbohydrates so the entire blood sugar response to a meal becomes more controlled. Combined with their insulin sensitizing action and antioxidant protection, every meal you cook with curry leaves becomes a little bit safer for your blood sugar. That effect compounds quietly every single day without you doing anything extra at all. And then there is the fourth action, the one that makes curry leaves number one on this list. Curry leaf compounds reduce fat accumulation in the liver. Because fatty liver drives insulin resistance every time curry leaves support liver health, they are making every other mechanism on this list work better. They are not just one intervention. They are a force multiplier for everything else you are doing. And you already have them. You have probably been cooking with them your entire life. The only thing you were missing was knowing what they were actually doing for you, how to use them. Chew 5 to 7 fresh curry leaves on an empty stomach every morning. Direct consumption preserves the alkaloid content fully. Then continue adding them generously to your everyday cooking. Now, here is how all 6 fit into a single day. In the morning, chew your curry leaves first. Then, drink your soaked fenugreek water with the softened seeds. These two together set up your digestive system for the entire day. Around lunchtime, if you are including bitter melon, have 2 to 3 ounces of juice before you eat. After your meal, take half a teaspoon of black plum seed powder in warm water. At any other point in the day, eat 1 fresh amla or have your amla juice in the morning. Add a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to your coffee, your afternoon tea, or your evening soup. 6 ingredients, 3 moments in the day, nothing expensive, nothing complicated. That is the entire system. These 6 ingredients are not a protocol. They are not a replacement for your doctor's guidance. They are 6 small daily habits that work together inside your body, and they fit into the routine you already have. Now, here's the most important thing I can tell you. Do not expect a dramatic shift in the first week. The damage that builds toward diabetes builds over years. Repair takes time too. The protection happens quietly. The same way the damage used to happen quietly. You will not feel it working every day. You will see it in your numbers over months. Consistency is not just a suggestion here. It is the entire mechanism. Every small step you take today is protecting your blood vessels and your pancreas for tomorrow. Before you go, I want to ask you something. We covered 6 ingredients today: fenugreek, black plum seed, cinnamon, bitter melon, amla, curry leaves. How many of those are already in your kitchen right now? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And in my next video, I am going to show you the food combinations that are silently accelerating blood sugar damage in most American households, even in people who think they are eating healthy. You do not want to miss that one. As we always say, it is never just a diet, it is always a lifestyle.